Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I did promise you guys more detail behind the Nicole Murphy situation. Now, a lot of you is like, well, who is she? She's got a history of doing these things. Did she mess with Lisa Ray's, man? Now Lisa Ray has kidnapped the headlines and threw her name back under the bus and brought up her marriage as if it was ruined by Nicole Murphy. The problem was Lisa Ray's marriage was ruined because she was married to a guy who never really wanted to be married. He thought this is what he wanted because he wanted Lisa Ray, who really wanted to be in a relationship at this point. And she was blinded like the other women that he had because he was the Turk and Caicos king. He was the prime minister of Turks and Caicos. And it worked for them. And there have been a number of celebrity women he has went through. But Nicole Murphy is the one that sticks out of the crowd as the one that keeps getting dragged through her relationship. But she has had past rumored relationship ending things, you know, going after these people who are in these relationships or just getting out of them. So here are some of the rumored relationships she's been in. Yes, the fashion model, supermodel wife. See, when you've been a model, most of these model women are used. They're trained on being kept. You know, they are loyal. They stay the part. They stay silent. They stay out of interviews. They just look good. So they're always modeling, always working on their bodies, and very stoic. But they're used to being kept. They're used to getting someone to take care of things for them. And while they just look good. And believe it or not, there are men who just want that. They want to have her on their arm to make them look good. This is the trend that's in Hollywood. You've seen Diddy. He always got a nice, look like they are cheerleader out of high school, chick on his arm. They all look like the next one. Now, Nicole Murphy was with Eddie Murphy. And that's when we finally discovered her. Right? That's when we discovered who she really was. When Eddie brought her out. Then they got married. So the situations always turn around full surface in all of these events. Right? They all turn around full surface. There's a lot of things going on in Hollywood that it wouldn't even surprise me if other things was going on behind the scenes. Listen. I know one of the real situations that went down between Eddie and Nicole, the talk in Hollywood. It's a lot different than what you've been told. But let's just stay on the surface. But it's kind of hard to do that without going through this. So I think you guys deserve to know the whole thing while we're doing this video. So let's go into it. Michael Jordan. Now, it was rumored after the breakup, she was with Michael Jordan. Now, that has been out there. There's a photograph of them in New Mexico, and Nicole is there with Michael Jordan. And people said that they were like all over each other, but it's only really one photo of them together. Like, Michael's already sitting, and it's like she's walking past. So there's no telling what was happening there, period. But why was she around Michael Jordan at the time? But this was after her relationship was over. But let's go back. Now, Eddie at this time was really hanging out a lot with Johnny Gill during the 2004-05 era that was getting a lot of attention, and Nicole and Eddie was getting ready to head for a divorce. When the divorce was in process of happening for about 2 years, but it just wasn't in the public's eye. Now, at the same time, I don't know if you guys remember the movie Boomerang. We talked about that. And when Boomerang came out, Boomerang was like one of the main films that had a soundtrack with The End of the Road, and LaFace Records was on top of that. Eddie Murphy's film, and LaFace with Kenny Babyface Edmonds, and he had just gotten married to his superstar wife. And Babyface and his wife were best friends with Eddie Murphy. Tracy Edmonds. And that was one of the situations where America was in love with Babyface and Tracy Edmonds. Right? Then you saw a whole different situation happen. Now let me tell you the word around the campfire and speed you guys up to the process. Word around the campfire is Nicole Richie, who was end up in a relationship at that time with Eddie. And they did the soundtrack. They were all friends. Tracy Edmonds, Babyface, Eddie, and Nicole. And then there's a thing in Hollywood what they're called swingers. And that this couple was a swinging couple. Oh yeah, swinging exists. So that was the word around Hollywood at the time. These were friends and they were swingers. They hung out a lot together. Not in public outings, but in private outings. Then some strange things started to develop. Where it was rumored that Nicole and Babyface had linked up by themselves, while Eddie, who wasn't hanging out with them no more, was hanging around more with Johnny and Sugar Ray Leonard. And Johnny Gill became his new BFF at the time. And they were having arguments, fights in the household, apparently. Which brought us to this situation we're in right now. And that situation is Eddie ended up with Tracy Edmonds. And everybody's like, what? How did Eddie ended up with Tracy? See, both of their marriages was coming to an end at the same time. Babyface marriage was coming to an end with Tracy. But he knew he couldn't go public with Nicole. That's bad for business. That's really bad for business. But in Hollywood, people date each other's women. Like in certain instances, they ask, hey, are you guys over? Oh, yeah, that's done. Well, can you send her to me? They would say, and it's Hollywood talk. In real life, somebody would punch you in the mouth. But in Hollywood, it's like, oh, okay, that was respectful that he came to me. Yeah, I'll talk to her about it. I think she's interested. I'll send her to you. Give us a year, about 6-7 months with transition. They'll send her over. So was dating Tracy a payback move for Eddie? No. They were good friends. So when they're a swinging couple, I'm quite sure they were a friendly couple. Still, after the fact, it's just a good look for Eddie. He was in rebound mode while he was searching for a new one. Now that you know what you're dealing with, and we gotten through this, we move forward. So what's in it for Nicole now? Now that you know what's going on with her. Well, she was free to date. So if she was with Michael, that's Mike's situation at the time. So this is back then where she spent her time with Jordan out in Los Cabos when he was out there gambling and enjoying himself, having a good time smoking stogies. So when the bad press started coming around, she was messing around with married men because she was searching for someone else who was willing to keep her at the time. And she was searching, and this is part of the process. She's always been that girl. Then she lands on Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan was just coming out of a nasty divorce and was looking to get back into position. And basically used her as a prop so that he can go ahead and, with his divorce, she got like 5 kids. He's got like 4 kids. So they were like officially the Brady Bunch. But this was mostly for business purposes than anything. Strahan wanted to advance his career, and knowing by having a lovely, beautiful model fiance on his arm, this would definitely advance his promotional situation. Because his divorce was so nasty, it's kind of hard to advance someone in the professional field when they have this above their heads. So, as a business arrangement of her being kept and her kids, this situation went to the next level, to where they were publicly a couple. 1 year into the relationship, there was a proposal, and the relationship lasted into 2014. When things started to go in a different direction. Well, the engagement was called off after she was, pretty much rumored to be in an affair with Jimmy Jackson, the former original Mr. Steal Your Girl. The man who stole Toni Braxton from Jason Kidd in one night. She went out on a date with Jason Kidd, came back and left with Jimmy Jackson. Now, Jimmy took on vacation to Puerto Rico. And her and Jimmy has remained good friends. But Jim Jackson's no fool. So, who was in transition at the time? Oh, can't forget about Nick Cannon. Nick was getting ready to transition for his separation with Mariah Carey. And that was not a good look, because Mariah and them were still apparently married at the time, heading for a divorce, or they were getting divorced. So I don't know if it was finalized, but it was too fresh. And people looked at it as, that's kind of disgusting. What are you doing? So when people start looking at it like, ew, she's disgusting. So it didn't look right. It really didn't. So they were having dinner, and apparently they were having a talk about what would happen in a, hooking up with and working with Nicole. From what we've told, it's been told to us, like, it was just a work conversation. We're having a work lunch. But you don't, if you're having a work lunch like that, you don't make it public like that unless you're trying to be seen. And what was happening was that Nick was in a rebound mode and Nicole was there, and she makes you look good. And for Hollywood, it's all about looking good. So I really truly believe that he didn't mess around with Nicole. I really truly believe that. This was used as a prop to make him look good during the separation divorce with Mariah. That's all I believe on that situation. That's my own personal opinion to that. No, I wouldn't believe that. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe always brought up Nicole Murphy on the show. He doesn't do it anymore, but he was getting her name popular up in the gym area. But Nicole Murphy and Shannon Sharpe, no, there was not a hookup. Now, they both worked out at the same gym or around each other in the gym, and they were quite, friendly with one another. But Shannon has been in a relationship and been dating for a while. But you rarely see Shannon's girlfriend. He don't want her really aired too much. But he's in a relationship. And has been dating his woman for quite some time. Now, with all the clamoring for Nicole, Drake couldn't help but to try to get next to Nicole Murphy. Because everybody talks about how glamorous and hot she is. And while Drake was flirting and throwing shots after filming this commercial for Virginia Black Whiskey, it was his daddy Dennis who was getting all the play. It's kind of crazy. She was like, he's a little too young. But, of course, he's a superstar, so he would have a shot at being her boo in real life. He's rich. Like I said, a woman that is used to being kept. She knows her position, she knows her role, and she's on the hunt to find a new one. Which brings us to Antoine Fuqua. The famous director of Training Day. And her is now engaged in this situation here. And I will not be using a photograph of theirs that has been sold to somebody else of them kissing. I'm quite sure you've seen the photo already, so you don't need me to show it to you. So out of all of these rumors, which one do I believe? I say it's all possible. No one really truly cares because it's all stuff way out of everybody's pay grade. But the people that's living these lives, they care. Lisa Ray, she cared. Ruined her whole marriage and everything. You know, Mike was Mike. Jordan, the hookup with Jordan, absolutely, that happened. I could see Jordan doing that. Jim Jackson, absolutely. The Strahan thing, I think that was completely business. Nick Cannon, rebound and prop photo for the cameras to say I'm back. I'm still Nick. Drake just wanted to shoot his little shot in the DM, but no commitment on his mind whatsoever. That was never going to work. Nicole will not be a booty call. Unless you really spend the bag. And now, this situation with Antoine. As she's changed her story from it was just a friendly kiss, there was nothing to it, to I apologize, I did not realize he was still married. Those sound like two different things to me. Two way different. It was just running into a friend. It was just a little, friendly kiss. There was nothing else to it. We're friends. We're like family. Until I'm sorry, I didn't realize he was still married. Well, because the photographs came out. I guess she's like saying that before the photos really showed how intimate things were. And she was like, oh, okay, they saw more than I thought. I don't know how that happened, but okay. And if you're Antoine, boy, you got really dumb really fast. So, like I said, when the other head's thinking, the other head, all the blood rushes to the other head. The brain loses a lot of functionality. But anyway, I'm out. Don't forget to support the page. Click the link in the description box. Hit the Streamlab up. You can leave me a message over there. We will be going live and calling people live the next time. Well, whenever they fix the notification situation. And definitely, you can hit up the Cash App if you don't have Streamlab and want to go through that process. My name is Carcino on the Streamlab. Thank you for your time. Those who lasted this long time, thank you. That shows you are a very true fan of the work and the process. I'm out.